I always say that if the benefits of exercise could be put in a pill, it would be the greatest blockbuster medication of all time. There's really no better way to describe it. What you might not know is you can use something as simple as walking as an unbelievably effective tool for weight loss. In fact, there's actually a timing strategy to maximize your results from it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that is and the science behind it. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. It really helps support my channel. Alright, let's get into it. At the end of a long day, a lot of people turn into a couch potato and start watching Netflix the minute they finish eating dinner, which is fine. You've earned it. But before Netflix and chill became a thing, walking after dinner was a popular activity, and it still is in some countries. And it's often associated with improved health and digestion. Ask your grandparents, they'll tell you that it's good for you. Italians, for example, have been walking after meals for centuries. I noticed it firsthand when I spent a month in Italy back in 2014. Walking was just a big part of the culture there. I've never walked so much in my life. I'd even argue that this is one of the biggest reasons why they can eat so much bread and pasta and still stay lean. And the quality of the food there is different as well. There's a world of difference between European flour and American flour, for example. But that's a topic for a different video. My point is, it's now been shown that a 15-minute walk after a meal is enough to lower the blood sugar and insulin response by half. That is mind-blowing. My entire channel is dedicated towards educating people why moderating insulin is the key to optimal health, because the faster you can regulate blood sugar and insulin, the faster you can start burning fat and improve your overall health and longevity in the process. And research backs this up. One small study found that when older adults at risk for type 2 diabetes walked on a treadmill for 15 minutes after a meal, they had smaller blood sugar spikes in the hours afterwards. In fact, the researchers found that short walks were even more effective at lowering blood sugar after dinner than a single 45-minute walk taken at mid-morning or mid-afternoon. This is why I always say that you should aim to get at least 10,000 steps spread throughout the day to avoid prolonged periods where you're completely sedentary. And you want to strategically schedule a 15-minute walk after every meal. Bonus points if you can take that walk somewhere in nature like a trail, a park, or close to a body of water. Why? Because walking in nature helps control depression, it reduces anxiety, it helps strengthen the immune system, it speeds recovery time after sickness, it reduces your risk of getting cancer, and generally just makes you a happier human being. The Japanese have been practicing this since the 80s. They call it forest bathing. Japan also has the highest life expectancy of any country, 90 for women and 84 for men. There are more than 400 centenarians in Okinawa. For comparison, the average life expectancy in the US is 78 years. So let's quickly break down the science why this works. After eating, our digestive system breaks down and begins to process the food we just ate. Carbs get turned into glucose and flows throughout the bloodstream. The pancreas responds by producing insulin, the storing hormone, to help pull glucose into cells, either to be used immediately or stored away for later use. Because having too much sugar in the blood for long periods of time can cause some serious health problems like hyperinsulinemia or insulin resistance. Timing also matters. The body's insulin response can actually lessen as the day progresses, especially in older adults. This is why you should ideally finish your last meal as the sun sets. Unless you're from Barrow, Alaska, little trivia here for you. They have 2 months of darkness in the winter, but in the summer, the sun doesn't completely set for 82 days. Crazy, right? But basically, the earlier you finish eating your last meal, the better. The problem is the average person has an average eating window of 15 hours. That's basically your entire waking hours. And with the majority of the population consuming their biggest meal at night, the body is less likely to respond well to that meal because of this lessened insulin response. And again, we turn into an immovable couch potato afterwards. As a result, blood glucose levels goes up and stays elevated for hours. That's not a good thing. That's why late night snacking is one of the worst things you can do. Because A, we don't really late night snack on the healthiest stuff. Nobody snacks on broccoli late at night. And B, your body has nothing to do with all those extra calories. And guess what? It gets stored as stored energy, aka body fat. This is where going for a 15-minute walk after a meal comes into play, because we use our muscles for locomotion. Muscle burns glucose for energy, effectively reducing the amount of excess glucose in the bloodstream, resulting in lowered blood sugar levels. This is why it's so important to have a lot of lean muscle mass, which I explain in further detail in this video, because muscle is the primary site for glucose disposal. It's your metabolic currency. This is why you rarely ever hear fit and active exercise enthusiasts get type 2 diabetes. Unless their diet is complete trash, but even then, they can still get away with a lot because their muscles are efficiently able to utilize glucose for energy from exercise. That's why exercise improves insulin sensitivity, among other things. So really, the best thing anybody can do to reduce the risk of getting disease is by having optimal body composition. It's so much more than just aesthetics. That's just icing on the cake. Muscle is the mechanism of health, because the lower your skeletal mass, the higher your morbidity and mortality. As you get older, if you get sick, muscle is the most direct predictor whether you're gonna survive. It's as simple as that. Having said that, a 2016 study of people with type 2 diabetes found that even just 10 minutes, not even 15 minutes, of walking after a meal helped lower their blood sugar levels. Not surprisingly, the researchers actually saw the biggest differences with walking after dinner compared to other times of the day. This goes back to the body's ability to manage blood sugar at that time of the day to be the weakest. And this is a completely different lever you can pull to moderate blood sugar and insulin outside of diet and medication. And it's free. On top of that, walking after a meal can also help with digestion. It stimulates peristalsis, which is the process of moving digested food through the GI tract. Walking after a meal also helps speed up the time it takes food to move from the stomach into the small intestines. This could help improve satiety after eating. There's also evidence that links this type of faster digestion with lower rates of heartburn and other reflux symptoms. As far as timing goes, try to get moving within an hour after eating. The sooner the better. Blood glucose tends to peak just over an hour after eating, so you kinda wanna get moving to beat that spike. Again, even if you can only fit a 10-minute walk after a meal, it's still enough to get you benefits like lower blood pressure, increased lung capacity, reduced risk for depression and anxiety, more energy and improved cognitive function, and it cuts your risk of getting Alzheimer's by half. I dare you to name one medication that gets you all those benefits. Walking also keeps you in the aerobic zone, below your maximum aerobic heart rate, which is 180 minus your age in beats per minute. It's that area where you're mostly using fatty acids for energy. It's the infamous fat burning zone, because fat burns well in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic literally means with oxygen. So don't be tempted to go for a jog unless you're really fit and you can stay below your maximum aerobic heart rate, because it burns more calories. Less is more in this scenario. It's also really uncomfortable to go for a run after a meal. And this is something you can easily integrate into your daily routine. I force my parents to do it because it's just so good for you. You can go with your partner and talk about your day. You can take your dog out for a walk or take your neighbor's dog if you don't have one. You can go with a friend, or you can also just take this time to reflect on your day. I always think of walking as active meditation. So moving forward, you can use this timing strategy to effectively maximize your weight loss from walking. Finish eating dinner a little bit earlier so you can go for a 10 to 15 minute walk afterwards. I really can't think of a more painless way to lose weight. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my unwanted body fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.